All right, welcome back to this special broadcast of Naivas turning 35. And in studio we have, of course, Peter Mukuha, Chief of Operations, Andreas von Palaske, Chief of Strategy, and Tim Kajume, who is the Chief Human Resource Officer. And we have just touched on the foundations of Naivas, what Naivas is built upon. And looking at some of the numbers earlier on, even the customers. I mean, Naivas does just around 2 million customers a week, which is quite massive. You could be hitting 6, 7, 8 million a month, which is a lot of people, a sizable part of the population. And the number of brands that you're dealing with are quite massive. But before we went on a break, Tim, we're talking about identity, because identity seems to be very, very important and critical in any operations. You've spoken about the values that anchored, or rather anchors the business. When it comes to value and identity, is that different? Because we know Naivas as our own, a Kenyan brand, and
Yes.
there is something proud about that.
Yes.
And it's an identity thing.
Mm-hmm.
Talk to me about that and how that is handled within the business.
Interestingly, one of our values, which is very prominent on one of our walls, is Naivas Ki Local. And basically what it means is that everything that we do it from a Kenyan context. We do it from a Kenyan perspective. And the reason why we do that is we do understand that we are operating in a market that is very proud of their heritage. Okay, Kenyans are very proud of their heritage. You've seen when you touch on Kenyans on Twitter, what they can do, and we are very proud of our heritage, and we are very cognizant of that fact, and that is why everything that we do, we are a local brand, but with an international approach, an international appeal. So we get what we would call best international standards, and we put them within the local context. And that is not just at our stores, but also in the way the business is run. Yeah.
No, that is operational, Peter. Global best practices and localizing those practices to be able to meet the demands of the customer at the end of the day. How do you find that balance?
Well, I think when you say global best practices, you need to pick what is relevant in this market. And one thing that we've done well is partnering with our especially our suppliers. Mm-hmm. And the first thing we do is, of course, setting out the expectation. What do we expect from them? And I'll give a good example. For instance, our fruit and veg section. We've come a long way in trying to bring those standards to where we are today. It has taken a lot of training, a lot of follow-up, not just with the farmers, but also with the aggregators that we are working with. So it's setting that expectation, putting in resources to train and giving them that platform to be able to bring those products. And we can now say that whatever we are presenting to our customers in our fruit and veg or the meat section, it can equally be compared to the best world standards that we have out there. So it's about partnering and giving out expectations, and also following up and measuring, and also giving accountability on people meeting those standards.
Oh, accountability. I mean, that's incredible. You even go to the partners and empower them to be able to produce what is required by the customer. And I'm pretty sure this is empowering them even to be able to not only operate and channel to you as a partner, but also to their local markets, their different players in the game. So that is quite interesting. And the ripple effect of that, Andreas, I mean, the economic impact of partnering with suppliers who, many of them are small, they're trying to get a platform to be able to on the issue of, again, standards, to be able to hit the standards that are needed. You're empowering them. What does that do to the retail sector in the country, but the economy at large?
Well, I think it has a huge impact. I think let's start off with the suppliers, and then I'll come and talk about the broader impact. We have many suppliers, many examples where a supplier's partner with us, and we find out 6, 12 months later, they've now invested in a new facility, in new equipment, which is phenomenal. Because that again means more employment, more impact on the economy. But I think it also means they themselves are looking to improve what they offer. And so the partnership that we have is not just around creating a broader economic benefit. Of course, that's a real side effect of that. But it's also improving the quality and the value proposition of what we can offer to our customers. And so that close partnership goes both ways, helping those suppliers to grow, helping us to have a better product offering, taking money out of the supply chain to ensure that we can reduce cost. Reducing cost means we again have a better value proposition to the customer, and so it becomes a very virtuous cycle, if you will, in terms of the impact that it has. And of course, those suppliers themselves have many suppliers, be that farmers or other people who are supplying them, right? So you can see the big knock-on effect that even small projects like this can have.
Definitely, and that speaks of also empowering different sectors, because retail is quite dominant when it comes to contribution to the economy in the country. And even when you talk about innovation, new businesses that are coming up, majority of them are playing at the retail sector. But connecting it to the suppliers, then it has a ripple effect to, let's talk agricultural sector, let's talk manufacturing sector, which is very, very powerful. Team, I want to take a segue with you. Because we are a very young country, we are a very young continent. Our median age, I think, is 19. These are your employees. This is the conversation that we are having as a country. The Gen Zs, very vocal, very informed, very empowered. And these are the people that are coming into the business. And they're the people that are sticking in the business and growing in the business and doing the next 35 that we're talking about. Talk to me about this young generation, and especially who are coming into Naivas, getting opportunities within Naivas to work and grow themselves in their lives and in their career. How are you handling Gen Zs? Is Naivas a Gen Z friendly business?
I would say yes. First of all, 67% of our employees are 35 and below. And most of these have grown through in the business. What Peter was talking about, what we are doing to the suppliers, the MSMEs and so on, I think it's the reverse of what is now happening when it comes to the employees. Now, it is the Gen Zs who are pushing us to, or forcing us to take the business, especially in terms of the values, in terms of the practices we have in the business, into cultures that are more friendly to them. As you said, they are more vocal, they are more well-informed, and they know what they want and they go for it. The good thing is, as I mentioned earlier, the kind of environment that they find at Naivas. So the kind of environment that we have is where it creates room for them to express themselves. We've got what we call employee engagement forums, where they're able to speak freely and they're able to give feedback on what they think that as a business we could do, or they want to express certain dissatisfaction with some of the, either anything that is going on in the business. And at any level, we have an open door policy, so they can always talk to any one of us and be able to ask or even challenge whatever they feel that is not right. The beauty about it is we're also getting a lot of ideas. Just this week, we had an engagement in one of our stores, and some of the questions that they were asking us are actually some of the things that we are looking into as a business to be able to now move into what you're calling the next phase of growth. So for them, they're already looking at what is that next phase of growth and what is the business doing to carry them along in that phase of growth.
Okay.
They are pushing us into things like better technology, things like AI, even the way we communicate with their employees, the way we interact with them, the way they do work, and so on and so forth. So for us, we have taken a very collaborative approach. We've taken a very open, relaxed environment with them and giving them the opportunity to express themselves and to partner with the business.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm glad, Peter, team talks about the way the future looks, artificial intelligence. These are big words that we use, and they're becoming more real in our interactions. The chat GPTs of this world now, they're very common. And maybe somebody's asking how you're inculcating that into the shopping experience. And I can just walk in and it reads my mind. I want 3 bananas and a loaf of bread. But they've spoken about the future. Now, 35 years is here. We are looking at the next 35 and more. Talk to me, what does that look like because you have a responsibility to make sure that this business goes on and on and on. Is that a heavy weight that you carry with you each and every single day?
Exactly, because we want this business to outlive us, to live beyond us, to live in the generations to come. And I think that keeps us awake on how do we achieve that. And we already have a foundation, like I said, but what we do is continuously improve. We are cognizant of the fact that things are changing around. Competition is not asleep. It's also improving. Our customers' demands and expectations are changing. And so we have to continuously improve. And some of the improvements that we are saying, and you mentioned, good thing that you mentioned about technology, it's more about how do we become more efficient. And we are putting a lot of money in our ERP, making sure that our processes are better, making sure that we are using systems to make decisions rather than using people, and those decisions are becoming the defining factor on how we are continue laying our foundation. For instance, I'll give an example. Previously, we used to use category managers in making like a simple thing like orders for our stores. And that came with a few risks. One, you could end up with stockouts on the shelf, meaning that customers are not finding the goods that they need. Or you could end up with overstocking. And that means that you're holding your cash, you are working capital, something that is not needed there. But we've continuously invested in technology and ERP to make sure that those processes are now automated. And that's how we are achieving efficiency in the business. Because for us, we are thin margin, high volume. So every coin that we save, every efficiency process that we push, we're able to push that coin either to add value to our customers, or even to put more compensation to our employees. So technology is always with us. We are looking at other trends such as e-commerce. It's something that is coming in a big way. We understand we're not yet there, but we're putting in more investment to make sure that we are also catering for that consumer who doesn't want to walk into the store, but want to shop at the convenience of their house. So there's a lot going when it comes to technology and creating that foundation too.
Very, very important. I'm looking forward to a day that we'll be putting on VRs and you go into the supermarket and you just click on the goods. That would be cool, man. But let me stop. That will be a reality very soon. I mean, Andreas, from a strategy point of view, we are saying you guys have been expanding quite intentionally. And when you talk about the next 35 years, and looking at the industry trends, where we are going, the economy, factoring all these external factors at play, and also internally as a business, how strong you are. What does that look like for you from a strategy point of view?
Look, I think we have a huge opportunity in this market. We've just developed a new vision to take us forward because, of course, 35 years is an interesting point to pause. 100 stores was an interesting milestone to pause. And our vision is to become the consumer brand of choice in East Africa. And I think there's two elements to that statement that I think are quite interesting. First is consumer brand of choice. Now, today we're in the supermarket business and we have no intention of deviating from that at this point in time. But we want to build a much closer relationship with our customers through the products that we sell, perhaps products that are using our own brand, but also increasingly become real centers of commerce for our customers beyond what you would call the mainstay of a supermarket. We talked a lot about the fresh produce earlier. We are a big retailer in electronics. Electronics, home appliances are very big for us as a business, and we think there's a lot more to do there. So the first statement is really, we want to become a very relevant brand for Kenyans when they think about really buying anything. That doesn't mean we're going to launch all sorts of things tomorrow, but I think it's important also, and we talked to the employees about this, it's exciting because there's a real growth engine behind it. The shareholders have said, we want to really fuel the growth in this business. And I think for every one of the 12,000 of us, that's really exciting in terms of the opportunities for growth that it presents. The second is East Africa, and I'm sure the question at the back of your mind. We're a Kenyan business, and I think for the foreseeable future, we will continue to be a Kenyan business. However, there are interesting opportunities on our borders, and it would not surprise me if over the next 35 years, we did not take what we think is a really good proposition in Kenya to some of the neighboring markets.
Okay, that's powerful. Going beyond the borders and taking this gem that we've treasured as Kenyans, so that our Ugandan friends and our Tanzanian friends can also have a feel of it and benefit from it. Tim, I know I was looking at the future of the job market, and everyone was like, the research was saying a lot of jobs will be AI-based, technology-based, so there is a lot of leaning, and even listening to Peter and Andreas, they're talking about tech being at the core of what the future holds for Naivas. From a human resource perspective, what does that look like for a person like me with my VR sets? I want to shop from the comfort of this studio. How does that look like?
Well, anything is possible, right? But what I can say is retail is one of the fastest evolving industries right now. What retail used to be 5 years, 10 years ago is not the same way. When you look at retail today and where we foresee it to go, so a lot of people have the mentality that retail is only what you see at the stores. And that's the only place they envision that they can get a job in retail. No, retail is huge. When you look at a business like ours, when you look at the support functions that support that particular store, we've got huge support from supply chain to marketing, commerce, legal, ESG, HR, IT, and so on. So these are all functions that are growing each and every day in order to be able to support the customer. So what does that look in terms of employment? We are having more and more professionals getting into retail as opposed to what people used to consider retail as just the front line. So we have, when you look at, say, for example, finance, we've got people of all manner of qualifications within the finance and at different levels. When you look at any other department, it is expanding. You touched about technology and what that future looks like. Yes, technology is a disruptor. So at some point, it will eliminate what we would call some of the mundane roles, because what it does, it helps us do things better. But what it also does is that it creates opportunities. It also creates new jobs. And therefore, it is a cycle. So even as some of the roles may drop off in future, but it will also create new roles. Peter talked about e-commerce. When you talk about shopping from the comfort of your house, there's a whole value chain that supports you to be able to shop from the comfort of your home. From the technology itself, to the fulfillment of that particular order, to the delivery of that order to your door, and the payment system around it, you can see there's a whole value chain.
Yes.
And in each of those, as it evolves, it is creating new job opportunities,
Okay.
and new partners to work with in future.
Wow, it's incredible. Gentlemen, talking for an hour and summarizing 35 minutes, it's not easy. But even as we come to the tail end of this conversation, Peter, you know, family businesses in Kenya, sometimes it's one of those discussions that we haven't had much success. And you touched on values. Foundationally, if you have the right values, your business will stand. I like, because you see this phenomena in different ecosystems. You look at India and Indian-owned businesses, very family, generational after generation. Somebody has been selling a particular product, somebody comes, expands it farther and farther. It seems like a norm, but it's not very normal in our ecosystem. As we finish, what do we need to change in our minds? Other than values, is there a switch that needs to happen in the Kenyan society to be able to see more businesses that are family-led and grow into family generation after generation?
Well, I think it's about having a bold vision and carrying that mindset of the founders. What I mentioned about founders' mentality. And in most cases, you'll find that founders will always have that vision of seeing their businesses grow beyond them and beyond generations and generations. I think it's about adapting that mindset, knowing that you're not just you're just there for a moment to push that business from one level to the next, and especially if it's a family-dominated business, know that you're just there to push it to the next level. What has happened mostly in Kenyan families is that people, don't observe those values. People become greedy. You want everything by yourself. That's the number one killer of businesses. I think you need to mind about others. You need to mind about tomorrow. It's not just about you. And when people get that mentality of pushing business to the next level and not about yourself, then we'll be able to see many businesses, and especially family businesses, flourish. The second thing is about involving other people, bringing in professionals, bringing in people who can advise you, having a good board that is diverse from family, putting in structures, putting in what we call administrative structures as well as the board structures in place. I think that would help when you professionalize the business. That would also help in making sure that that business moves from one generation to the next.
Oh, just like Naivas, it's moved from one generation to the next. And I see the attitude that the team carries. It's like we have a responsibility to take it the next step that we're supposed to be. Gentlemen, this has been a beautiful conversation. If I had the power to teleport the bottles of water to your hands, I would. But right now, it's where we put a full stop to this conversation. Thank you very much. It's been a pleasure talking to you. And Naivas is Kenyan. and we are really proud of you guys, and we're looking forward to what you have in store, pun intended, over the next 35 years and more. So thank you very much, Peter Mukuha, Chief of Operations, Andreas von Paleske, very interesting name, Chief of Strategy, thank you very much. And lastly, we have Mr. Tim Kajume, Chief Human Resources Officer. It's been a pleasure. My name is Nokip Kimboy. That is Naivas at 35. And they've just said, yes, we are going for 35 more because we still have the fuel inside of us. It's a good night. It's 11. Some of us, the bedtime is here. We put a full stop to it. Enjoy the rest of your viewing. We are out. Thank you, gentlemen. That was beautiful. You've done well. You've done well. You've done well. Okay.